Principle 2. Ask this question to create the circumstances you want. One of the traits that keeps people stuck in traditional work-life ruts is an affliction I like to call helpless victim syndrome, or HVS for short. You've probably been infected with this scourge at one time or another yourself. I know I have. This disease is evident when someone takes a look at a current situation and incessantly points out what's wrong with it, who the perpetrator is, why it's so bad, and how things will never change for the better. Complaining, blaming, and victimhood are all wrapped up in one ugly little package. I saw this classic human curse in full force when I was 25. There was a time of my life when my creative pursuits exploded, as I mentioned earlier. After years of playing music and doing a little writing on the side, I branched out into doing theater, video production, and even stand-up comedy. There was only one comedy club in town at the time, the Funny Bone. The only opportunity for newcomers to get stage time was the Tuesday night open mic night. Live comedy was booming in the mid to late 1980s, so there were a lot of amateurs showing up for a limited number of open mic spots. If you were lucky, you might get on the Tuesday night lineup 3 times a month, and you only had 5 minutes for your open mic set. That equated to 15 minutes of stage time for the entire month to hone your craft, not the optimal way to learn and grow as a comic. Would you like some doom and gloom with that? Most of the open mic performers complained about the comedy club, the entire local comedy scene, how they were getting shafted, and on and on. I was frustrated by the lack of opportunities too, but I chose not to go down the HVS rabbit hole. Remember, it stands for Helpless Victim Syndrome. Instead, I embraced the attitude of this quote from George Bernard Shaw. Quote, "People are always blaming their circumstances for what they are. I don't believe in circumstances. The people who get on in this world are the people who get up and look for the circumstances they want, and if they can't find them, make them." Unquote. So what I did was ask a more empowering question. What do I really want out of this situation? Think about the power of that simple question. What do I really want out of this situation? When you're in HVS mode, your focus is all about what's wrong. The more you think about why the situation sucks, the more you firm up the lens through which you view that aspect of your life. The thicker your suck filter gets, the more dirt and muck you see. But when you shut down the HVS suck filter response and replace it with, what do I really want out of this situation, a whole new world opens up to you. And this new world view will help you immensely as you strive to build a DIY career ideally suited for you. Anytime you encounter a circumstance you don't like, it's the perfect time to ask that pivotal question. Making the shift. So back in my open mic comedy days, when I asked, what do I really want out of this situation, the answer was obvious. More stage time to hone my comedy craft. That led to the next logical question. How can I get more stage time to hone my comedy craft? A question like this is empowering. It's mind-expanding. It compels you to uncover solutions and not wallow in the sewage of what's wrong. I knew that more stage time at the Funny Bone was probably not an option, but I started brainstorming about other local venues where I could perform. Then it hit me. A few months earlier, I had visited a bar called Off Broadway in South St. Louis to see a friend who was a bartender there. During that visit, she introduced me to the owners. It was a nice place with a cool vibe. It had a stage that featured live music on weekends. But like many venues, it was struggling to get bodies in the door on a regular basis. So I contacted the owner and asked what they did on Wednesday nights. As it turned out, nothing. So I proposed an idea. What if I organized a weekly Wednesday night comedy show at Off-Broadway? I would MC and get some of my open mic buddies, who are also looking for more stage time, to come and perform. It wouldn't cost the venue a dime. We would charge a $5 cover, and I would get all of that door money. The bar would simply supply the space and the staff, which is something they did anyway, usually with few people in the room. It was a no-brainer for the venue owners. Yes, they said, let's do it. The result? For about a year and a half, I hosted a weekly comedy show at Off-Broadway. Sometimes we had good crowds, and other times it was sparsely attended. But over those many months, I got lots of stage time, developed new material and song parodies, and paved the way for more and better comedy gigs in the years to come. Within a couple of years, I even landed paid week-long gigs at the Funny Bone as the opening act and MC. And it all happened a lot faster than if I had continued to wallow in the mental quicksand of helpless victim syndrome mode. Bottom line, to build a DIY career, don't get stuck in the muck of what is and what's wrong. Instead, ask what circumstance you really want. Then use your imagination to ponder the many possible ways you can get it.